Hi friends, this is NJ, host on this channel. So we are going to begin our discussion on the Nakshatra number 22, which is the Shravana Nakshatra. This is just going to be an introductory video where we will try to understand the symbol associated with this Nakshatra, the deity, the god residing on this Nakshatra, and a brief idea about the nature and functioning of this Nakshatra. And in the following videos, we will try to get into the core or the depth of this particular Shravana Nakshatra. So before we'll start our discussion, just a quick recap of all what we have studied so far. We have already discussed that the study of these 27 nakshatras, also known as the lunar asterism, is very important because it gives a strong edge to your reading. They give you more accurate tools to study the movement of the planets in the sky, because you cannot rely on your reading only on the basis of the planets inhabiting or transiting these 12 zodiac signs, because behind each zodiac sign there is the energy of 3 different nakshatras. That is the only reason people born with the same zodiac sign do not think alike or do not behave alike. So one usage of studying these nakshatra is that it gives you a strong edge to your reading in accurately assessing the movement and the behavior of the planets in someone's life. Second usage is they are also used in order to do the marriage or the business or the partnership compatibility. And third usage of these nakshatra is that they are used to take out the auspicious time for certain acts known as the muhurta or the electional astrology. In ancient times, our sages, they used to do the Vedic rituals basis the time and basis the nakshatra which moon is transiting at that particular point of time. So one particular time which might be very suited for laying foundation for any construction work, beginning and entering into a new residence, might not be very suited for going for a travel, going for a marriage. So all these things you get to know only if you have a strong hold on these 27 nakshatras. So all of that we have already discussed in the introductory videos. Now we will start our discussion fresh on the nakshatra number 22, the Shravana Nakshatra. So the first thing is about the zodiac space. This nakshatra falls deep within the Capricorn sign, completely within the Capricorn sign, from 10 degree reaching till 23 degree 20 minutes within the Capricorn sign. So Capricorn, which is a sign ruled by the planet Saturn, which is all about the good organizational abilities, which is all about the practicality. So you will find the domain of this nakshatra completely within the Capricorn sign. When it comes to its astronomy configuration, so this nakshatra constitutes of 3 stars in the constellation of the Aquila, the eagle. So Aquila, the eagle, within this constellation, this nakshatra constitutes of 3 stars: Alpha, Aquila, Beta, Aquila, and Gamma, Aquila. Whenever ancient sages, they looked at the sky, they saw these 3 stars making the form or the shape of the 3 footprints, which you will very soon get to know that which has a strong correlation with the 3 strides taken by the Lord Vishnu in his 5th incarnation as the Vaman avatar. So you will get to know about that. But one thing is that the astronomy configuration of this nakshatra constitutes of 3 stars which can be spotted at the top of the constellation of the Capricorn. When it comes to its planetary rulership, so its planetary rulership goes to the planet Moon. So you can find the summit or the peak of the Moon's energy in this Shravana Nakshatra. And as you people know about the Moon, when Moon is working in its positive aspect, it's all about the creativity, it's all about the nurturing, and even in its peak, the nourishment of the person will take him to the level that he will have a universal compassion. His compassion will not be restricted to his family, but for everyone, for the whole world. And its negative aspect, the intensity of the moon can make someone, being afflicted with the imaginary fears, phobias, vacillation, too much of the changeability. So all of that fear remains, be it in the positive or in the negative side, in the functioning of this Shravana Nakshatra. And just because it is the nakshatra number 22 and 2 is the number which is being associated with the moon, so double 2 can be seen as the intensification of the energy of the moon in this nakshatra. When it comes to its power, the Shakti or the power of this nakshatra is Samhanana Shakti. Samhanana Shakti means power to connect. This nakshatra has the potential, has the power to connect people to their appropriate paths, to their destiny in this lifetime. Even the indication of this nakshatra is seen as the star of learning. When it comes to the name, what do we get to know from the name the Shravana itself? See, Shravana has a lot to do with the Shruti, with the learning. And even if you'll go by the mythology or even of the Hindu Vedic description, the most earliest of the Hindu sacred writings, which is known as the Vedas, Veda, which in itself can be translated as the knowledge, and it has been believed that in the at the time 5000 years ago, when these four Vedas were being being written, be it the the Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, Athar Veda, so it has been believed that these four Vedas, these Vedas were not being composed by the intellect, they were being heard straight from the divine. Our ancient sages who made themselves so pure for this transcendental form of knowledge, they heard it straight from the divine. So the Shruti, the learning, the hearing of the knowledge is being emphasized in the functioning of this Shravana Nakshatra. So this Shravana in itself can be translated as the Shruti or the learning. Many scholars also define it in the form of the meaning that one who limps. Again, the three footsteps and the three strides taken by the Lord Vishnu is coming into consideration, but the chief and the primary translation of this word Shravana can be converted and can be translated as hearing or as listening. Many scholars also associate this Shravana with an alternative name as Ashwata. Ashwata, which is another name for the people or the Bodhi tree, and this is the same people tree or the Bodhi tree where even the Lord Buddha, he got enlightenment under sitting that and meditating under that people or the Bodhi tree. So lot of emphasis again on listening to your inner voice, because what is the enlightenment? In itself means that at that point of time, Lord Buddha, he heard the divine within him. So again, listening to the divine within is coming into consideration in the functioning of this Shravana Nakshatra. So name can be translated into the listening or hearing, one who limps, and with the Ashwata tree. When it comes to the symbol, so the symbol associated to this nakshatra are three numbers. The first symbol is the three footprints or three strides. Now what is the story behind that, which I am repeatedly mentioning in describing this nakshatra? So you have to understand one mythological tale behind it. See, in ancient times there was a time when the demons were spreading their domain in the whole three worlds, the heaven, the earth, and even in the underworld or the netherworld. So they have even thrown the gods out of their abode in the heaven. So, and that all was taking place under the rulership or under the kingship of the king Bali. So Bali, who was under the guidance of his preceptor Shukracharya, was gaining power, spreading his domain in the whole world. So, and he was also on the verge of conducting a ritual which would have made him invincible in this whole world. So the gods got scared out of that. They went to Lord Vishnu for the help. Lord Vishnu assured that he will restore the balance again in the universe. He took the incarnation, he took the form of a small priest or a dwarf priest, a little Brahman, and he went to the place where this whole rituals and this whole ceremony was taking place. And the only eligibility of that ritual or that ceremony was that you cannot refuse any offering to a Brahmin. So just because Lord Vishnu had taken the incarnation, the fifth incarnation as the Vaman, as a priest, a small priest, he came at the doorstep of the this king Bali. He asked for that he want three strides of the land as his alms, as his charity. So initially the demon king Bali, he got amused that if this child can ask so many million of things, he can ask for the food, he could ask for the clothes, and as a Brahmin, he could even ask for a cow. Why he is asking for three strides of land? Though the case was different, his preceptor, his guru Shukracharya had already seen that this is the Vishnu himself in the guise of a small Brahmin. So somehow there is one part of the Bali's personality, the demon king Bali's personality, that he was very charitable by nature. So he promised that he is going to give this Vaman the three strides of the land. And the very moment he agreed, even going against the warning of the preceptor Shukracharya, the Vaman, the god Vishnu in the guise of the Vaman, he enlarged his size, and in the very first step he measured the earth and the netherworld, and in the second step he even measured the heaven, because he enlarged, he took such a gigantic form that even his head was not visible in going till and reaching till the sky. And in the second step he measured the heaven. Now he was just left with no option, that where shall I put my third step in order to fulfill the promise, and fulfill the promise which you have given to me, that you will give me 3 foot strides of the land. To which the Bali, he just said that you can put your third step on my head. And the moment the Vaman, the priest, he put his foot on the head of the king Bali, he just got sent down to the netherworld, the underworld. Though that is a different case, that the Lord Vishnu in the guise of the Brahmin Vaman got so happy because of the charitable and the benevolence of this demon king, that he gave him the boon that you will become the doorkeeper of this netherworld, the underworld, and whenever there will be some need where you want my help, I will come definitely for your rescue. So the whole story is that these 3 steps which Lord Vishnu in the guise of this Brahmin Vaman took has been seen as and attached as the symbol of this nakshatra. Now what do you get to know from that? The first thing is that, which we get to know from this whole story in the functioning of this Shravana Nakshatra, is that the person who will be strongly under the influence of this Shravana Nakshatra has the capacity to put a very innocent front. Second thing we get to know about the functioning of this nakshatra is that the person is very clever to get his work done. And third thing is strong conviction and putting the value and the worth of your word or of your promise. So that is all you will get to know from the mythological tale behind this 3 footsteps, which has been assigned as the symbol to this nakshatra. The second symbol assigned to this nakshatra is of a trident, and the third symbol assigned to this Shravana Nakshatra is of an ear, just because too much of the significance has been given to the listening, to the Shruti. So the 3 symbols are 3 footprints, second is of a trident, and third is of an ear. When it comes to the deity, the god presiding on this nakshatra, so the very first god presiding on this nakshatra is of Lord Vishnu himself. Lord Vishnu, who is seen as the preserver. Among the trine gods, the Brahma is being seen as the creator, the Vishnu who is seen as the preserver, and Shiva is seen as the destroyer. So we can look at these trine gods from the perspective of the Sattva, Rajas and the Tamas as well. So it is the role of the Vishnu, the mind, the Rajas, who is just responsible for uniting the desire for love, which is the Sattva, with the object of the love. So all of that we get to know about the Vishnu's organizational ability, the preserving ability in the functioning and in the innate functioning of this Shravana Nakshatra. The second deity, the god which presides on this nakshatra, is the goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, goddess of learning, goddess of music, goddess of languages, which preside on this nakshatra. When it comes to the nature and functioning of this Shravana Nakshatra, so that's very simple. The first thing which we get to know about this nakshatra is that lot of emphasis on acquiring the knowledge. Someone who will be strongly under the influence of this nakshatra will completely devote himself in the pursuit of the knowledge. Fame and recognition, the strong capacity of attaining the fame and recognition remain in the functioning and in the innate potential of this nakshatra. These people tend to remain of very sociable nature. It has been generally seen that these people are also very fond of travel. They even learn and live in the foreign lands. When it comes to the flip side or the shadow side of the Shravana Nakshatra, so a little bit of the jealousy, of the obstinacy or the stubbornness has been seen if the planets are afflicted, placed in the Shravana Nakshatra. And it has been generally seen that, if your prominent planets, and specifically the 5th house, which is devoted to the house of progeny or the house of children, if the 5th lord is sitting in the Shravana Nakshatra, this is not considered as very good sign for the progeny perspective. People who have their 5th lord in the Shravana Nakshatra, in the research has been seen that they derive kind of little bit less happiness from their progeny, from their children. So these are the few things which I wanted to mention as my introductory take on the Shravana Nakshatra. In the following videos, we will definitely try to get into the core and depth of the functioning of this nakshatra. So I hope you guys found this video informational. For further more updates and notification on astrology, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.